Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. In this video, we will be finishing my wreath, finally! I know, it's been forever. We've had a lot of sicknesses and we've been traveling and holidays and everything. So if you want to see my completed wreath and how I get there, please keep watching. The final pieces to my wreath are these cute little acorns, and there's 4 of them in total. And I'm going to quickly show you how I bead and sequin. I have showed you guys before in previous videos, but I kind of change it and evolve it as I go. So in this demonstration, I use 2 strands and I put a sequin and a bead on my needle. And I just go through it once and then come up and do another bead instead of going through twice. I feel like, you know, it doesn't really need to go through twice, unless, for instance, if you are just using 1 strand versus 2. If I were using 1 strand of thread to bead and sequin my pieces, then I would definitely go through twice. So I know it says in the instructions to use 1 strand. I personally don't, because I've had thread break on me while I'm trying to bead, and that's super annoying and, you know, wastes your time, because it takes a long time to bead all these pieces, and then your thread breaks and you have to start over. Sometimes you can recover it and kind of backtrack and, you know, knot it and get a new piece of thread, but I find that to avoid that mess, just to double the thread and then go through the bead and sequin at least once. So I'm going to do the last top part, and then I'm going to show you how to put them together. Now the acorns have 3 pieces. This is the top front and the bottom front and the back. So I'm going to cut these out and we're going to put them together kind of like that. To put these acorns together, we're going to grab a little pin and pin this in place so it doesn't move around. Because as you're sewing, the felt tends to move a little bit. So I like to take a pin and pin it in place. And there's my little tomato with all my pins. So we're going to pin that in place, and then we're going to applique those 2 pieces together. And then once those 2 are appliqued, then we will put the backing on and stuff as we go. Here's what the 2 pieces look like attached together. And we're going to add the backing onto it. And you can pin it if you want. It's not necessary, because this is so small. And if you feel like you need to trim a little bit, that's fine too. I ended up not having to trim it. So here's the acorn completely finished with it a little bit stuffed. It has a little bit of dimension. You don't want to overstuff these acorns, because then they'll look distorted and the felt stretches. So I went ahead and finished all 4 of the acorns off camera, and we're going to attach them onto the wreath. Now on the instructions, it gives you a good idea of where to place them. It doesn't really tell you how, so I'm going to show you how I decided to put them on. And the way I did it was I just grabbed kind of part of the stick that I kind of wanted to be, and a little bit in the back of the acorn. So I did a little section like that and basically applied it that way. And I figured if this is probably the best way to do it, especially if you want to be able to kind of adjust the acorns and not have them just sit there. So it kind of gives the illusion that the acorns are kind of dangling from the twigs. So I'm going to show you the first 2 acorns, where I placed them, and then I'll show you the other 2 acorns where I ended up placing them. With my first acorn on, I grabbed my second one and I decided to put it like right around here, so a little bit above the first one, so it looks like it's kind of hanging, kind of like the picture that's in the instructions. And I just kind of grab a part of the twig, do the same thing I did with the first acorn, grab a section in the back of the acorn so you don't see the string, and maneuver it in a way where you can, you know, get a good placement for your needle, and make sure that you knot it reasonably, not too tight, but, and you know, that is where you can't really see the strings in the back. And I liked how it ended up. I think it ended up really well, and it turned out well. And they are laying sort of like the picture, which is nice, and that's kind of what I want it to look like. So those are the 2 acorns on the bottom, and then I'm going to skip ahead and show you the 2 acorns on top. They're so cute. That's where I'm going to put them. So I ended up putting them towards the back of the other twig in the same fashion. The first one is a little bit lower than the second one to kind of give the illusion that they're dangling side by side. Grab the back of the wreath and a piece of poster board, and I ended up getting this poster board at Walmart for like 97 cents. Super cheap. You can also get it at the dollar store or any craft store. Cut out the back and grab a pencil. Trace the back onto the poster board, and then grab some scissors. Preferably not your crafting scissors. I grabbed the wrong one, so I ended up grabbing some regular scissors and cutting out the poster board. And I'm just making sure that it's the right size. Ultimately, the goal here is to have the green part overlay the poster board. So you're able to sew the 2 pieces of the felt together, and then the poster board's in the middle. So it took me a few tries to kind of adjust. You know, it's not perfect, obviously. The ring is kind of wobbly off center, but it'll do. And if you have to trim, that's fine. I trimmed several times, and I went around several times. So place the top of the wreath on the top, and then flip it over. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to applique the middle first. This way, the poster board will be able to stay in place while you're doing the outer rim, and it's so much easier. And that way you can stuff it a lot easier too. It's a lot harder to stuff it and sew it in the tighter circle than it is on the outer circle. So go ahead and use your applique stitch for the inner circle. And then this is what it looks like when it's completely done for the inner side. The outer rim of the wreath is a little bit trickier. You have to kind of pull on the opposite ends and place some pins in there so they don't move around, because felt does tend to warp a little bit as you're moving it around. And since this circle is going to be stuffed, it will pucker in some places. And you know what? That's okay. You know, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to look homemade, and it's going to look like, you know, some love went into it. So here I'm showing you how I'm stuffing it, and it's a little hard to start at first because there's really no place for the stuffing to stop. So you kind of have to find a place for it to kind of stop. So I'm just doing little bits at a time. I'm probably doing about almost a quarter, every quarter of the wreath I stuff. Here's the end of the wreath. I'm getting towards the end of finishing it, and you can see that I went slowly, and I wanted to actually show you how to make cording. I've had people ask me about cording. It's a little bit obnoxious to do, but just grab some tape, and I grabbed 3 strands of yellow. I decided to do yellow because I like the color yellow and it matches the leaves. And you just twist. And we're basically making like a thread rope. And you twist until you feel like it's tight enough. Grab a pen with a little hook on it. Drop it, and it should twirl. And it'll create a nice little rope. Or a cord. Whatever you want to call it. And then knot the end so that the cording doesn't come, you know, doesn't unravel. Maneuver it any way you can. And then that's what we're going to hang our wreath with. So I'm going to actually show you how I put this on. And I decided to attach the 2 ends first before I put it on the wreath, so they won't go anywhere. And I did 2 strands of yellow, and I kind of made a little bit of a slip knot. And now I'm able to attach it to the wreath in the place that I want to. And I kind of figured right around here, behind the green leaf, is a good spot. Sorry for my camera. I bumped it. I'm just trying to gauge where to put it. So I kind of put it towards the top. You can put it honestly anywhere you'd like, but I decided to put it towards the top to give it a good place for it to hang while it's on my door. I don't want it to hang too high or too low. And I just grab some felt pieces and just knot knot the loop onto my wreath. I do it a few times, and at the very end I give it a double knot, and there's my double knot. And I'm sorry about the camera. I didn't realize I knocked it until towards the end, but I do end up taking my scissors and trimming the bottom of the loop. I don't leave it there because I'm a clean crafting person. I can't leave little dangly things. So I trim those, and I am completely done with my wreath, and I can hang it up on my wall. And there's my wreath completely finished, and on my door I grabbed that wreath holder I got at the dollar store, and there's my finished wreath, and I'm so glad to be done with it. Yay! I'm so excited that my wreath is finally done and hanging on my wall. Yay! It looks so cute, and I hope that you guys liked it. And in my next tutorial I will actually be showing you how to do a Christmas wreath, like an actual wreath. So not a felt one, but an actual like Christmas wreath for under $10. So check that out when that posts. Please make sure to like and subscribe to my videos. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, because I know there's a ton of you that watch my videos but have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and like those videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!